Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into a huge stack of sources on a reality TV family you probably know, and specifically what the sources are calling Kody Brown's apology tour.
It's a really fascinating situation because you've got two things happening at once. On one hand, you have this very public, very emotional drama of Kody trying to make amends.
Right.
And on the other, you've got the hard facts, the long history of trauma, the timeline of neglect, and, maybe most importantly, the financial bottom line of who is actually winning after this family implodes.
And that's our mission for this deep dive, to figure out what's real reconciliation and what's just, good PR.
Yeah.
The setup is that Kody has started this apology tour to set them free after the whole Coyote Pass disaster.
Yeah, and we should probably just quickly explain Coyote Pass for anyone who might not be totally up to speed.
Good idea.
It's this huge piece of land they all bought years ago. The idea was to build homes for the whole family, but it just never happened. It became this physical symbol of all their problems, a huge financial and emotional weight.
Exactly. So that's the backdrop. Cody's targeting his ex-wives, Mary, Janelle, and Christine. But even he admitted that this apology tour felt like a list of chores.
And he said approaching Janelle was the easiest of the chores. Approaching Christine, that was a whole different level of difficulty for him.
Which already tells you so much about where the relationship stands.
Absolutely. He knew what he was walking into. He said it himself, that he was entering a space where, and I'm quoting here, trust has been killed.
Wow. Not just damaged.
Oh,
Killed.
Killed. It's an admission of a total collapse.
And you really see that in how differently Janelle and Christine reacted.
Oh.
Let's start with Janelle's conversation, because that one, it seemed to offer some kind of resolution.
It did. And what's so interesting is what Janelle needed to hear. Cody apologized for being bitter, for making mistakes. But the key thing was, he said he was ashamed for not protecting her. For a time, she felt unsafe.
And for Janelle, that was it. That's what she needed. She wasn't looking for an apology for polygamy itself, but for validation of her specific struggle within it.
Exactly. She talked about how, as the first plural wife, she had to just shut down emotionally to keep the peace. It sounds exhausting.
Totally. So for her, hearing him finally acknowledge that sacrifice that was healing, it brought some closure to those really ugly early years.
Right. And you have to remember, they have so much shared history, kids. They still have a decent line of communication. That connection made it possible for her to even accept the apology.
But then you pivot to Christine.
Yeah.
And wow, that door is slammed, locked, and bolted.
Oh, it's a completely different universe. But where Janelle found peace, Christine found, immediate anxiety. He frames his outreach as an olive branch, and she just sees it as a threat.
A provocation. She said she was completely shocked he even asked to meet.
And the language she uses to explain why, it's just devastating. She said she never wants to speak to him again because their marriage was, quote, brain damage for so many years.
Brain damage. I mean, that's not just we had a bad breakup. That is implying a deep, sustained psychological toll.
It is. She also compared their talks to a knife in the kidneys over all these years. So for her, the risk of another conversation, another potential wound, it's just not worth it.
So her first instinct was just a hard no. She said, no, I'm not going to go. That's ridiculous. I don't trust anything that comes out of his mouth.
And it all comes down to one thing for her. Motive. She needs to know why now. Is this real? Or is it just another performance with, hidden barbs attached?
She just doesn't have to risk her own peace for his narrative anymore.
And she's not. Which leads us right into her new life. She didn't just leave, she built something entirely new.
Yeah, she met her new husband, David Woolley, on a dating site for single parents, and they got married back in October of 2023.
So when Kody suggests they go to counseling, Christine's reaction is basically, are you kidding me? She spent decades trying to be the best wife ever, and she is just done.
And you see that play out on camera. It's so tense. Cody's trying to apologize for saying he didn't love her, and she just points to her new husband and says, this is my husband here. Why do you think this is appropriate?
That is a hard boundary.
A very public one. And what's interesting is her husband, David, he tries to be diplomatic. He says, people can change.
But Christine isn't buying it. She pushes back immediately. She says, where's the proof? The last time that I heard him talking about me, he was mean.
For her, the past isn't the past. It's evidence.
And it seems like the distrust is mutual. Kody admitted in an interview that he'll probably never trust Christine again, even if he can forgive her for leaving.
Meanwhile, what about Mary? She's also moving on, right?
She is. The sources say she met a guy named Ron at a speed dating event, and she seems really happy.
So how did she take Cody's apology?
With a huge grain of salt. She basically called him out in a confessional, said his energy was messing with her energy.
That's a very diplomatic way of putting it.
It is. But then she told him to his face to stop using the word apology because the more he says it, the more insincere it feels.
Wow. So she's saying the word itself has become meaningless.
Exactly. It's just a performance at this point. And just to add another layer of chaos, in the mid-season trailer, Kody drops this bomb.
Yeah, I saw this.
He just declares, your wife's having an affair and your other wife tells you, that's my business.
We don't know who he's talking about, but it doesn't matter. The point is, he's supposed to be on this peace tour, but he's still stirring up drama and policing their lives. It completely undermines the whole thing.
It really does. And if you zoom out and look at the timeline, it makes the apologies feel even more hollow.
This is the part that I think is so important, the timing.
Right. Think about Weisabel's spinal surgery. That was back in September 2020. It was a huge, scary operation, and Kody wasn't there. He stayed in Arizona because of his COVID rules.
A decision that caused so much pain. And an apology for that 4 years later, it feels a little late.
Or go back even further. Truly's hospitalization for kidney failure in 2013, a near-death experience for their child. These are the moments that define a partnership, and he wasn't there in the way he needed to be.
So years later, the apology can feel less like genuine remorse and more like...
Damage control. Exactly. All the commentators are saying this is about reputation management.
And Christine says it perfectly. She says the apologies are all about him. That if he was serious, he'd be taking action. He'd be reaching out to the kids he's hurt, like Leon, Truly, and Isabel.
Words are cheap. Actions are what matter.
Okay, but here's the detail from our sources that just completely blows up the whole narrative of Kody learning from his mistakes.
This is the real bombshell.
So while he is on this tour, apologizing for the failures of his plural marriage.
He is also, at the same time, entertaining attention from a woman online who is asking to be his new wife.
Wait, just wait. So while he's saying sorry for how badly he managed having 4 wives, he's considering a 5th.
I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's the ultimate contradiction.
What was Christine's reaction to that news?
Total shock, just complete surprise. She pointed out that Kody has spent the last year telling everyone, including Robin, that he loves monogamy now and he never wants to do plural marriage again.
So this is either a manufactured storyline for the show or he genuinely cannot see the pattern he's repeating.
Yeah.
Either way, it makes the apology tour look like a joke.
It does. But let's ground this in the numbers for a minute because the money is real. The 2025 financial scorecard tells a very clear story about who is actually thriving after the split.
Okay, let's get into the finances. Who is securing the bag, as they say?
Well, the big story is Christine. She's doing incredibly well. Her new husband, David, came in with his own money, somewhere between $1 and $2 million.
And combined with her own net worth.
Their combined net worth is projected to hit around $5 million. That is a massive financial success story.
Wow. And how does that compare to Kody and Robin?
Their combined net worth is about $1.4 million. So Kody at $800,000, Robin at $600,000. It's a lot of money for sure.
But it's dwarfed by Christine and David's.
Completely.
So how are the women making their money? It's not just the TLC checks, right?
No, the checks are a big part, maybe $25,000 to $40,000 an episode, but they all have their own side hustles.
Right. Mary has her in.
Lizzie's Heritage Inn, which is very successful. Janelle has her Plexus partnership and this TNA Fams platform. And Christine has her own company, C. Brown Quest LLC, plus a big memoir deal coming up.
And you can even see the difference in how they brand themselves in small ways, like on Cameo.
Yeah, that's a great point. Cody and Mary both charge $150 for a video. They're positioning themselves as the established high-value stars.
But Christine only charges $60.
Right. Which suggests she's going for volume, for connection, she's building a brand on being relatable, and it's clearly working. Her financial future looks incredibly secure.
So the woman who called the marriage brain damage is the one who is now in the strongest financial position.
It's the ultimate irony, isn't it? She leveraged her escape into a whole new successful brand.
So let's just pull this all together. We have Kody on an apology tour. Janelle finds some peace in it because he validates her past struggles.
But Christine rejects it completely. She's focused on his motives now, and she's protecting herself from any more of that brain damage.
And underneath it all, the financial reality shows that Christine's freedom has paid off, literally, in a way that has made her more successful and secure than the family she left behind.
It's a perfect case study of motives versus outcomes. Which leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on.
Okay, lay it on us.
If Kody says he needs to earn back trust and apologize for all the pain he's caused, but at the very same time he's considering taking a fifth wife, what does that actually tell you about his commitment to healing? Is this apology tour a real path to reconciliation, or is it just the necessary plot point to set up the next season of the polygamy drama?
Something to think about. Thanks for diving deep with us.